Welcome to Sportsource. We've got all the coverage you need for tonight's high school football in Athens, starting with Brock Vandergrift from Prince Avenue. The Sooner commit is back from his leg injury, ready to lead the Wolverines against Lakeview. Athens Academy might have their four-star running back Laneith Whitehead out for the season, but they still have the number 7 wide receiver in the country, and Deion Colsey to lead this charge against a struggling Providence Christian. Bubba Chandler, UGA baseball commit. In less than 2 hours, the junior will lead the undefeated Titans against Stevens County in a Region 8 4A matchup. Also coming up, a California law. Grady sports reporters take a look at the California Fair Pay-to-Play Act and its impact on the local Athens community. Plus, Josh Alexander, the 5th-year head coach of Athens Academy, he just reached a major milestone. One more thing, big game Bishop Josh might not be the biggest baller on the block, but he might just have the money picks for this week's Athens area matchups. Welcome to Grady Sportsource. I'm Jack Sadiga alongside Lindsey Van Houten and Josh Bishop. Thank you so much for joining us. The first thing I'm going to address, it's been on everyone's mind. Josh, why did you even bother to wear a tie for this show? I know you didn't wear one for the last show.
You know, I'm a senior. I'm trying to be more responsible. I got to get a job eventually, you know. And it's not even my tie, to be honest. It's actually Jack's tie. He loaned it to me.
Lindsey called you like a hipster earlier.
You definitely got the whole vibe going on with the undershirt and the tie. I've never seen it before, but I think I like it.
You know, I'm not.
It's my tie, by the way. So
I'm not a very hipster guy. I like Drake and pop music and Post Malone. It's not very hipster, but Chick-fil-A, very mainstream things. But you know, I might pull off the hipster look.
No, Josh, you call yourself a mainstream guy, but I don't really think so, and we'll find out later in the show. We've got a great show planned. Before we get into it, here's our Sports Source clip of the week. Here it is, an impressive what seems to be, 15-yard field goal from Carlo. Seems to be celebrating a little bit too much for that kick. We'll give you another look at it. Pretty ugly, but better than some NFL kickers, I'd say. In the meantime, we have the man himself with us, the great Carlo Finley. Carlo, we know you have a better tan than I do, but what even brought about that field goal attempt?
So after the broadcast ended, everybody was gone, the stadium was empty. We walked down. I think the students wanted to take a photo to kind of commemorate their last broadcast and realized there were a bunch of footballs. Someone had left footballs on the field. And so you don't want to leave some failed athletes a chance to play football because they're gonna take the opportunity. So everybody starts throwing, running little routes, playing catch and everything. I was decent, had a decent arm, could catch, but I knew where my real talents lie. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start kicking field goals. So thankfully Nicole Sheeran is always game for anything, and she says, "I'll hold for you. Are you gonna kick my finger?" I said, "I'm not gonna kick your finger." So I said, "Trust me, I'm not gonna kick your finger." So she held. Lined it up, and we started kicking field goals.
Carlo, anyone who knows you knows you're the stylish one in Grady. What shoes were you wearing for that kick, and did they get ruined?
So that's a great question. So for a broadcast thing like that, I didn't want to dress too nicely, so I didn't have like full-on dress shoes. I had a pair of Clarks on, which I find to be fashionable but versatile enough when you're walking up and down stairs, spending time on the field. So I knew that they would probably shave about 7 or 8 yards from my distance, but I felt like I could still get enough power to make it happen. So they got a little wet and they weren't ideal, but ultimately, they were valuable enough to make it work.
You just became a dad within this past year. Do you see your son following in your footsteps one day?
Oh, now that I've got some fame from this video, I do worry a little bit. Because it's big shoes for him to fill, and that's the type of thing where I don't want him to feel pressure that he has to be an amazing kicker like his dad is, or a fashion icon, or really just a general Renaissance man. I want him to be who he is. And if he ends up wanting to kick field goals, that's fine. But if he wants to do something completely different, that's okay too. He shouldn't feel any pressure to be quite as multi-talented as his father is.
Thanks for coming on the show, Carlo. We'll hear more from Carlo later. With the clock winding down on tonight's games, it's time for some 2-minute offense. Our very first topic, Athens Christian's defense is giving up more than 37 points per game. How do they fix the problems, especially in the secondary?
I think they will need to add a second safety back to beat this George Walton team.
Yeah, George Walton's passing game is really good. I say commit another DB, whether that be in a star or nickel or whatever you want to do. They need more people back to help against that passing offense of George Walton.
Yeah, they got shredded against Prince Avenue. We'll go right into our second topic. What offensive strategy does Athens Academy take with Whitehead officially out for the season with that lower left leg injury?
Yeah, I think you could get the ball to Deion Colsey. He was already your second best player. Now he's your first best. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Let him do some work on offense.
And even Kurt Nisley, he's really stepped up and taken the place of Whitehead and really just secured the offense for Athens Academy.
Topic number 3, moving quickly, where do you view the strength of North Oconee in the running game or the passing game?
Definitely the passing game. Bubba Chandler, he's a SEC, Georgia commit baseball player. He's got a heck of an arm. Let that man air it out and keep that passing game rolling.
I agree, Josh. With Chandler and with wide receivers Bennett, Tochi, and Max Tumblin, I think the passing game is where it's at for North Oconee.
Final topic in our 2-minute offense, how will Brock Vandegrift's comeback affect Prince Avenue?
I really don't think it will, Jack. Lucian Anderson III has really stepped up in the place of quarterback and taken control of this Prince Avenue team and kept them on the path for a successful into the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely think that Lakeview's been scored on by just about everyone. I think if Lucian Anderson's playing at quarterback, Prince Avenue rolls him, and I think with Vandegrift coming back, it might be even worse. So I don't really expect it to affect this game at all.
That was some really good 2-minute offense. When we come back, we will check in with our feature reporter, Anna Glenn Grove. She talked with Clark Central coach David Perno and Oklahoma commit Brock Vandegrift about the California Pay-to-Play Act and how they feel it affects Georgia high school football.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Grady Sportsource. California State Legislature signed a monumental Fair Pay-to-Play Act on September 30th of this year. As a result of the act, college athletes in the state of California will be allowed to profit from their name, image, and likeness. This changes the landscape of high school recruiting for sports in the state of California, and a Georgia lawmaker introduced a similar bill this week. Sportsource reporter Anna Glenn Grove has more.
The state of Georgia has historically been a hotbed for elite high school athletic programs and athletes. A powerhouse collegiate program like the University of Georgia is largely responsible for keeping top recruits in the state. However, the fair pay-to-play law could pull those top recruits to other parts of the country.
We got to start holding athletes accountable. I mean, from our standpoint, they get they get everything they want. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, they go to school, they get clothes, they get shoes. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think they're outsmarting themselves out west, and they don't know what they're getting into. I couldn't be farther against it.
Nearly a dozen other states are following suit. Florida, Kentucky, and South Carolina are on this list of states. As of Wednesday, Georgia has introduced the act to the floor as well.
Georgia's going to have to pass the law because if Florida and all those other ones do it, they're going to use it to out-recruit Kirby Smart and Coach Georgia Tech. But I don't think it's the end of the world. It's just another change.
Number 1 quarterback recruit in the nation, Brock Vandegrift, won't feel the effects of fair pay-to-play upon his arrival to Oklahoma. But by 2023, his younger teammates could be dealing with the implementation of the law while in the thick of their recruiting process.
There would definitely be some benefits to it, but in the end, I think it's probably like your duty to go do your time at their school because they're giving you a full ride scholarship, all the education, books, like food, everything like that. So I think it's kind of your duty to go play your heart out for 4 years and not really take any money from that standpoint.
With fair pay-to-play, students will be permitted to promote companies and products and benefit financially from their participation in college sports. They will even be able to hire their own agents.
The agents are going to have to care about the kids because it's not going to put the agent in a higher tax bracket for a while. And it's good for the kids to learn what the rules are in the Olympic sports and pro sports. It doesn't hurt it. I mean, agents aren't the enemy if the schools don't treat them as such.
The Fair Pay-to-Play Act contradicts the NCAA's ban on player compensation outside of scholarships. As of now, the NCAA bans student athletes from engaging in endorsement deals or accepting payment for the use of their image. The California law, to go into effect in 2023, would bar the NCAA from retaliating against it.
I can definitely see how that can affect some other people's recruiting because if they're trying to make money just to send back home, stuff like that. So I can definitely see both sides of it, but for me, I don't think it would affect me if they were able to pay us either.
For example, players could negotiate with video games to create avatars of themselves to profit from. They could also engage in shoe deals, jersey sales, autographs, and more.
Pitcher can give pitching lessons. Basketball, a young man or woman can give basketball. I mean, that's the easiest way. It isn't public appearances.
States who have a variation of this law may find themselves with a big edge when wooing players in high school recruiting. It could open up a bidding war, and if Florida, South Carolina, and Kentucky take part, Georgia will have to pass this proposal or lose top athletes.
Any state that is not chasing to be like towards the top and be the most modern is just going to get behind, because it's just only going to affect them and their schools in that state.
The new California Act will come into effect in 2021. The NCAA has threatened to ban all schools in California from playing in the NCAA if the act remains in place. Now, we plan on going in depth for the Athens area games, but first we have 3 impact teams on a bye this week. Clark Central, Cedar Shoals, and Oconee County are all teams we may be talking about in late November. Guys, I want to start with Clark Central. Here's a look at the Gladiators' next 2 games. A big one coming up. They've got the #1 team in 5A, Buford, in the season finale. Lindsay, how will they finish up this season?
Clark Central needs to win one of these next 2 games, and I think they can do that against Johnson. If they win against Johnson, they will be second in the region, giving them a great position going into the playoffs.
Yeah, if they're second in the region, they'll have a home playoff game and most likely could beat Johnson, a 4-4 team that lost to Cedar Shoals, a team Clark Central actually beat 34-10. Clark Central's looked really good on offense this year. Isaac Ward especially. What does he bring to the table?
He really has been great inside the pocket. Passing game has been great. He's really been bringing the Gladiators offense to exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah, right. Now we're going to move to Cedar Shoals, a team I mentioned that was struggling. Cedar Shoals' upcoming schedule a little bit easier. They got blown out by Oconee County and Clark Central earlier. They're in the final playoff spot in their region right now. Josh, do they hold on to it?
I do see them holding on to that playoff spot. They've only got to win one of the next 2 games, and it's Johnson and Loganville. I wouldn't be surprised if they won both games. I know they can't hang with Buford, they can't hang with Clark Central or Oconee, but I think they're the definitive 3rd best team in this region behind those teams. So I think you can go ahead and bank on Cedar Shoals making the playoffs behind Jalen Rusher and what can be an explosive Jaguars offense.
And you mentioned Jalen Rusher. He's kind of been the question mark this year. There's a reason we call it the bye segment. They need a bye this week, and he needs to put in some work. Where is he weakest, and where does he need to improve his game?
I think Jalen Rusher wasn't a quarterback before this season. They kind of just relying on his athleticism, putting him back there. So he's definitely going to work on his passing accuracy, but I think if they continue to run some of those bootlegs, give him the option to either run or throw against different types of defenses, I think he can be successful and take Cedar Shoals maybe a little bit farther than some might think.
Our last team, Oconee County, led by the 4-star Max Johnson. He's an LSU commit. They've been really good this year, and they need a bye this week, guys, because they have the de facto region championship coming up against North Oconee. Do you guys think the Warriors take this region?
I think this bye week will be absolutely crucial for the Warriors to beat this undefeated North Oconee team. With brother duo Max and Jake Johnson, they could be unstoppable in a highly competitive game. Jake Johnson has 309 receiving yards so far this season, alongside teammate Ben Nolan with 253. That creates a really dangerous passing game and a big threat to the Titans. Both, of course, have high caliber quarterbacks and some excellent wide receivers.
Yeah, Josh, I know you weren't super high on North Oconee a few weeks ago, but you seem to have kind of turned the tables on them. What's your take?
Yeah, so I think some of that was just past biases that I had seen them not be that good in the past, so it was like, are they for real? And I genuinely thought they might have been a fluke in terms of being undefeated, but they didn't have any major players like Max or Jake Johnson that have, that are ranked and have stars and everything, so they didn't have that buzz. But when you compare how these 2 teams have played some of the same teams, you've really got to give the edge to the Titans. Oconee beat St. Pius 21-7. North Oconee plays the same team, wins 44-0. Offense has been better all year, 303 to 228, and the defense has allowed less points. The Titans' defense has only allowed 12 points per game this season so far, while Oconee's offense has been a tad predictable. You talked about Jake Johnson and Ben Nolan. Yeah, they're great, but they're responsible for 73% of Oconee County's receiving yards. So I expect that Titans secondary to shadow these 2 and significantly disrupt the Warriors' offense. Should be a good game, but I agree with you, Lindsay. I think the Titans will win their first region championship since 2012.
Thank you so much, guys. Now, in honor of the Halloween season, we've come up with the top 5 scary good plays of the season. Number 5, Clark Central against Oconee County. A bit of a throwback to start out our scary good plays. Isaac Ward, he's going to hit Jalen Gary, 56-yard touchdown. Tremendous job stepping up in the pocket and finding his wide receiver. Clark Central would go on to win that game 28-21. Number 4, Prince Avenue Christian against Athens Christian. This was a blowout. A little sweep play. No, a trick play. Trey Stills to Landon Raggle. He'll run out the rest of that. And we move right into number 3. Athens Academy's Kurt Nisley against Prince Avenue Christian. About 8 guys trying to bring him down. Couldn't stay on his feet and score the touchdown, but a pretty nice run from Whitehead's replacement. Here's a really good play at number 2. Bubba Chandler. Get it done. 50-plus yard pass to Gavin Bloom. Take another look. Look at the arm talent from Chandler. UGA baseball commit getting it done. And North Oconee would go on to win that game. Number 1 play, and this is absolutely filthy. Max Johnson against Jefferson. This is a week 1 game. The defender trying to bring him down, completes it to Nolan, and he fights his way into the end zone. Take another look. Johnson from one leg, fading back, makes a 20-yard throw, and Nolan's able to tough it out into the end zone, gets the flag to boot. Those are your top 5 scary good plays in honor of the Halloween season. Those really are some scary good plays. We'll see if they are as scary as Josh's basketball moves later. For now, coming up, we have a preview of Athens Academy's homecoming game against Providence Christian. Plus, we talked with the Spartans head coach, Josh Alexander, about his new place in the Georgia high school record books.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
We are back. Jack Sadegan with you on Grady's Sportsource. Charter 181. Athens Academy is the top-ranked private school in the state of Georgia and is undefeated this season after a 58-0 victory over Athens Christian last Friday night. The Spartans are led by their 5th-year head coach, Josh Alexander. He's 51-7 in his high school coaching career.
Resting along the border of Clark and Oconee County sits the top private high school football team in the state of Georgia. Athens Academy has won 33 of their last 35 games behind the vision and leadership of 5th-year head coach Josh Alexander.
There's nothing special about what we do other than just try to work hard, and I'm just a high school football coach, just like any guy that in the state of Georgia or this country, you know, and it's just an honor to get to do what you love to do every day.
Alexander won his 50th game and just his 57th game as a head coach, putting him in a tie as the 7th fastest coach in GHSA history to win 50 games. Joey King set the record in 52 games. He coached Trevor Lawrence at Cartersville High School.
It's an honor, you know, anytime you get to be honored in Georgia high school and in Georgia high school football, it's an honor, you know, and it's fun to watch the kids be part of it, and I get to be part of it. I'm just a small piece of it.
Alexander has led the Spartans to back-to-back appearances in the state championship.
So people coach their entire career and never get the opportunity to either play for one or win one, you know, and I've been blessed to do that in 3 out of the last 5 years.
Alexander helped Archer High School start its football program back in 2009. In 2014, he helped Archer reach its first state championship with the highest scoring offense in school history. A year later, he moved to Athens Academy with the same message in mind.
We just tell the players every day, get up early, go to bed late, and work hard between those 2 points. We sort of pride ourselves on being very discombobulated and non-traditional.
Alexander was faced with new expectations once he got to Athens Academy. Petrosky believes Alexander has met or exceeded all of those expectations.
You know, we wanted him to come in and build a community, a football program that took pride in itself and had a lot of potential.
Athens Academy looked over 200 potential coaching options before settling with Alexander. His passion and knowledge for the game of football stood out to Petrosky. Despite never being a head coach, Alexander's vision for the program separated him from the rest of the coaching options.
He had a plan in place for what he wanted to see created and developed with the program that he was going to lead.
That plan that Alexander had in place has worked out better than anyone expected. His success at Athens Academy is well known and has brought a lot of excitement to the community.
It's an honor for our program. It just shows the success we've had in a short period of time during his tenure here in the last 5 years. So it's impressive. It's something that I know he takes a lot of pride in, but also our school community does as well.
Year in and year out, Coach Alexander has the same vision and expectations for the Spartans.
We have the same goals every year, you know, make the state playoffs, win a region championship, and try to win a state championship.
Coach Alexander will look to lead Athens Academy to another perfect region record as they host Providence Christian tonight in their final home game of the season. I'm joined now in the newsroom by Sportsource reporter Kevin Keneally. Kevin, you had access to Athens Academy's locker room before the game last Friday. What was Coach Alexander doing to prep his players?
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Alexander was breaking down yeses and nos with his players during the pregame meetings. However, when I got there, he had just called out his players to come check out the sunset, and I'm sure you saw in our last package how nice it was. But the players, just before kickoff, were out there just taking pictures and having a good time.
Sounds like Coach Alexander likes to keep it pretty relaxed before the game. That might be a key to Alexander's success. All right, Josh's money moves will be on display shortly, but next, Lindsay will show us how she likes to throw it down with a new segment we call the How with Van Houten. I've got 4 different scenarios that went down this season, and Lindsay will give us how each one happened or how something will happen over the course of the rest of the season. First up, North Oconee. The Titans find themselves at 8-0 for the first time since 2011. Lindsay, how'd this happen?
I really think it all starts with Coach Tyler Arndt. He created a program that in 2016 didn't win a game, and now to an 8-0 season. It's showing that he can get it done on both sides of the ball. The Titans defense has allowed more than 7 points just once this season, and that was against Madison County. And quarterback Bubba Chandler is definitely the athlete to talk about. The passing game for North Oconee has definitely gotten them to this 8-0 start.
Yeah, moving into our second topic, we're going to talk about Athens Academy. They officially found out that Laneith Whitehead, their 4-star, is out for the season. A lower left leg injury. They thought he might be able to come back, but he won't. How do you see the playoffs shaping up for the undefeated Spartans without Whitehead?
I really think that before Whitehead got injured, he had around 260 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. And now with Kurt Knisley, he's really stepped up. And without Whitehead, he has 565 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns this season. I think Athens Academy can make it second, third round, possibly farther. And they really want that state title, and I think that's what they could possibly go for.
Next, we turn to Prince Avenue Christian, who just got back their starting quarterback, the Oklahoma commit Brock Vandegrift. He had a broken fibula. Now he's back. How does this change the Wolverines season?
See, I really don't think it will change it that much. I think they need to be careful with Vandegrift this game and placing the strain on him. But Lucian Anderson III, as a freshman, has 728 total passing yards. He's really stepped up and proved that he can compete with a D1 athlete, and he's gotten that chance earlier than he had hoped for. And so they really are on the same path as they were before and hopefully continuing a successful season.
Yeah, Lucian Anderson has been good. The only game he lost was against Athens Academy, a 24-0 defeat. And this is a great game against Lakeview Academy to kind of ease in Brock and give him a couple easy reps, easy throws against a weaker opponent. Finally, Max Johnson. He's been leading Oconee County on a tremendous run this season. How big of an impact do you see the 4-star and LSU commit having when he finally does arrive in Baton Rouge?
Well, when he gets there are 4 freshmen and a sophomore, all behind LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. And I think the biggest thing is they are 2 different style quarterbacks. Joe Burrow is a dual threat, while Max Johnson is a pro-style quarterback. So their yards is different. Burrow had rushing and passing, while Max is more of just passing. So when he gets there, he's definitely going to have to show his coaches what he can do.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. You see how much she knows. When we come back, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Big Game Bishop is here, and he's ready to make some picks.
Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better late than never.
Welcome back to Grady Sportsource. Jack Sadigan alongside Lindsay Van Houten, Josh Bishop. This is your Athens area game preview. Our first matchup, Athens Christian against George Walton. Athens Christian at 2-5, George Walton 5-2. Pretty much stark opposites, but they're both coming off blowout losses against Athens Academy. Last time Athens Christian won this game was in 2015 by 1 point. Lindsay, what can we expect from George Walton tonight?
Both of these Bulldog 2 losses came against teams that also beat Athens Christian, and George Walton lost by far less in both cases. Also, the Bulldogs' hot offense has been scoring 32 points per game coming into a game against a defense allowing 37 points per game on average. So I would say that the Bulldogs definitely have the edge here. However, this game could be up for grabs if the Eagles are able to put up a monumental effort in their home crowd.
Athens Academy is versus Providence Christian. That's where we're going to go to next, a homecoming game for Athens Academy. And Josh Alexander has been phenomenal. The Spartans 7-0. They're expected to roll through this game, even without star running back Laneith Whitehead. Josh, should we expect another crooked number from the Spartans tonight? They've got one of the worst teams in the region coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got the worst team in the region going on the road against the #1 team in Private A football. This will be an incredibly tough game for Providence to win playing on the road. I would expect them to lose against Athens Academy.
Moving to our third matchup, North Oconee at Stevens County. North Oconee, it won't even probably be a game. I mean, talk about a blowout. Bubba Chandler could have the chance to potentially destroy this team. Lindsay, how do you see it?
You're so right, Jack. Just like with our last matchup, you've got an undefeated team going against the worst team in the region. I expect Bubba Chandler and the Titans to have fun with this one. However, that's probably exactly how the Titans are feeling as well. Perhaps Stevens County could catch the Titans looking ahead and upset the undefeated Titans. You never know.
Final matchup, Prince Avenue against Lakeview Academy. This could be viewed as another lopsided one. Prince Avenue has to travel to Lakeview Academy. They do have Brock Vandergriff returning as well. Who do you think will be starting at QB, given this being a little bit easier game for Prince Avenue?
Yeah, Jack, I can see this going two ways. Your offense will be able to move the ball, whether they start Lucian Anderson or Vandergriff. So you could either give Brock a little more time to rest and start Anderson, or this could be a great tune-up game heading into the playoffs for Vandergriff. Either way, you've got the second best offense in Region 8A, right behind Athens Academy, going up against the third worst defense. Advantage goes to the Wolverines despite playing on the road.
It's that time, guys. With just over an hour until kickoff, we're going to move into our game picks. We'll start with Lindsay and then go to Carla. Lindsay, what are your picks?
Yeah, Jack, I have George Walton for tonight, and obviously I have to go with the 7-0 Athens Academy, and I've especially got to go with 8-0 North Oconee and Coach Tyler Arndt. And finally, Prince Avenue is definitely going to dominate Lakeview.
Okay, for this week, I am keeping it. I'm an Athens native, so I'm going with the 4 Athens area teams. So first off, Athens Christian, I think they're going to take George Walton Academy. I definitely feel good about Athens Academy in their matchup against Providence Christian for homecoming. And then North Oconee, I'm going to pick them over Stevens County. And finally, Prince Avenue gets my pick over Lakeview.
It's finally here. The man is here. It's time for Big Game Bishop, and he's ready to make some picks.
My birth name is Joshua Lamar Bishop, but most people call me the White Mamba or the White Snake, the Shadow. It's a ghost Casper. People call me Casper because they can't see me. You know, they used to say Larry Bird, he played chess and everyone plays checkers. Well, whatever is above chess, that's what I play. You know, there's legends out there, but I'm happy being a beneath the radar legend. I don't need the spotlight. You see, if you look around my room, there's a lot of jerseys. A lot of these were given to me by NBA teams. I wouldn't be good for the brand of the NBA. I don't look the part. They didn't want a little unathletic guy cooking their stars. It's not a good image for the league. Okay, so this is Atlanta corner over here. Dale Murphy gave me this one. It actually is a Dale Murphy jersey. We're best pals. Deion Sanders, X gave me this one. Had to take it down for a little while because it made me sad. Then you got John Collins. True story. I posted this on Instagram and he liked it. One of the best days of my life. Damian Lillard, because he's just a cold man. Curry, I basically am Curry. So I wanted to have 2 Currys to remind myself twice as often that I am Stephen Curry. I think I'm a combination of Lillard, Curry, and Nash. I think that's why I have them in this row right here. You ever play Yu-Gi-Oh cards? It's like you took the polymerization card and just slapped it down, fused all 3 together, you get Joshua Lamar Bishop.
I haven't played him yet, but I really think that his skills are one of a kind. They're something I've never seen before. After watching him for 5 minutes, he's just something I want to be. I mean, look at these guys' moves. There's something else. Here he goes. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, as annoying as Josh is, and he is annoying, I have not seen the man miss. He hasn't missed a 3, team player, rebounds, picks. His play on the court comes into the show. Whoever he picks is probably going to win. I would literally get out my checkbook and write $100 checks for whatever team he picks to win tonight.
First game, we got 5-2 George Walton playing an Athens Christian team that's struggling. George Walton all day, baby. Game 2, we got Athens Academy, Providence Christian. It's Athens Academy in a regular season game. What do you think's going to happen, folks? Spartans all day. We got Bubba Chandler and North Oconee Titans going up against Stevens County. I'm going with Bubba Chandler and the Titans. This week, Lakeview Academy is taking on Brock the Rock Vandergriff. He's back from injury. Look for Prince Avenue to roll over him.
I don't really know what to say to that video. Big Game Bishop is something else, Josh. Thank you so much for that performance. That's it for us tonight. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @ByGradySports for a rundown of all the high school sports in the Athens area. Check out the Athens Banner Herald's weekly Best of Preps podcast. For Lindsey Van Houten and Josh Bishop and everyone else here at Sportsource, I'm Jack Sadigan. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Grady Sportsource. Good night.
Grady News Source is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.